Whose case this is? Is that your case, David? Oh, Z, do you mind if I move this here so I
Oh,
can
yes,
sit?
yes,
Thank you.
please.
Yes,
I just don't
you're
like
good.
to
And
touch
then if you
people's
stand
stuff.
right there and talk to that camera, I'm going to go back there and put it. Oh.
You don't like where I'm sitting, come and pick me up and put me somewhere.
You can start whenever because we're live.
I'm
It's
fine
being
with that.
recorded. Everything's good.
Hey, you sit here.
All right, I'm going to face this for the camera apparently, but the rest of the guys are behind me listening. So welcome to the players meeting for the first, or the inaugural back room billiard studios one pocket ladder. What's up, Sean? Good to see you, buddy.
Sorry, I was a couple minutes.
We called this players meeting to go over the rules. This is the first time we're doing a ladder tournament. Most people didn't know what it was. Being from Pittsburgh, we kind of grew up with these in our pool room. And it's been about 30 years since I've been a part of one. So we've worked out the rules. Everybody's paid. We have the ladder that you're going to see in a minute. And we can go over the rules and how it plays out. But the gist of it is this. The ladder that you will see behind you would be all the way vertical normally, but I didn't have a portable magnetic board to do that. So starting with Al is the top of the ladder. And the first 6 people are in the first tier of the ladder. The second tier begins with Naeem, and the third tier begins with Jason. First names are up there with the exception of Tony Hart and Tony H and Tony T. They're the only 2 duplicate names we have on the ladder this time out, for a total of 17 individual players throughout the ladder. The rules of the ladder are quite simple. You can challenge above your rung by 2. So you may challenge 2 people above you on the ladder. You will play them in a race to 3 one pocket. And the loser of that match will put $20 towards the prize fund. The winner of that match pays nothing. If the lower ranked player wins, he assumes the rung of the person he beat, and the person that got beat goes down by 1 rung, therefore shifting the next one down, and the cascade starts probably for 2 or 3 people, well, 2 people really. You must play at least 1 match per week. And when you play that 1 match per week, you will have to rotate in between the 10 weeks of the ladder. We're playing for 10 total weeks. You will have to rotate between challenging and accepting a challenge. So for instance, if your first week you challenge someone and that is your 1 match that you played that week, the next week you must accept a challenge from someone else. Now obviously the top of the ladder has no one to challenge. So Al, at this point, at the top of the ladder, will have to wait for someone to challenge him. And Jay, as the bottom of the ladder, will have to make a challenge. And if that person remains where they are, then the same rules would apply. So Al would continue to have to play 1 below him or 2 below him, and Jay would play above. But everybody else in the middle, the other 15 players, can go up or down, and that will have to rotate each week. So that at the end of the 10 weeks, you will have 5 challenges accepted and 5 challenges made. You may play as many times as you would like. There are 4 opportunities every week for you to play, 2 up and 2 down. You may play as often as you like. What I would like everybody to do is I just put together a text thread with everybody here. Everybody in the ladder is on that thread. Please either use that thread to make and accept challenges, or pick out the phone number of the person you're challenging and put me on a thread with the 2 of you. The reason you want to do that is, first of all, there's accountability that way. I'll know what's going on as the tournament director. Secondly, if the person isn't getting back to you, I can intervene to try to get that to happen. And if somebody is being difficult to get a hold of, difficult to play, then I can also try to intervene and make that a little bit easier. So please keep me posted on all of the various ways that you are either challenging or accepting a challenge on the ladder. How you doing? So a couple questions that come up, and let me clarify this. If you move tiers in the ladder because of winning or losing, well, okay, let me start over on that. Anybody challenging a different tier. So any lower tier player challenging a higher tier player gets 9-7 spot in one pocket. So for instance, if we're looking at this ladder the way it's set up, if Naeem were to challenge David Mudry, then Naeem would be getting 9-7 from Mudry. And if Naeem won, he would take Mudry's spot, Mudry would move down. At that point, Naeem would no longer get weight from anybody in tier 1 because he becomes a tier 1 player. If he were to get beat and go back down to tier 2, he would then get 9-7 again from tier 1 players. Are there any questions on that? Does that make sense? I know that's a little bit confusing, but I need that to be very clear from all the people in the room. Good. Very efficient of me. It's rare. So the other thing to keep in mind is we're going to put another rule in that wasn't part of the original package, and this comes from a lot of conversations. In the last week of play, you may not be knocked out of a money spot unless you get beat. Now this is important to note because, for instance, I'll use Naeem again since he's at the top of tier 2. If Naeem is there and Adrian doesn't want to play Naeem, but he wants to play David in the bottom of tier 1, and Adrian beats David, technically David would fall into Naeem's money spot on tier 2, the top of tier 2. That cannot happen in the last week of play. David would go down one below the money spot. This way you can't lose your money by winning your match. But all other weeks, that can happen, okay? Are there any questions on that? Is that clear? Okay, good. I have notes, excuse me for a second. While I'm looking at my notes, we are also doing this for charity. So thank you everybody for being part of the charity. There's an expectation of significant money being accumulated throughout this ladder, depending on how many times people play. Now, with that being said, 25% of the total prize fund is going to go to a charity. And it's actually going to be divided amongst 2 charities according to the ownership of BAK. One is the V Foundation that we raise money for with the Legends of Pocket Billiards Straight Pool Challenge. And the other one is one that's close and near and dear to Ken's heart, which is, Ken, the name of it escapes me? Quarterstone? Okay, and that is helping people get money for trade school, right? Kids. Kids between 13 and 17 provides opportunities for them in the trades. So the money will be split evenly between those two. So 25% of the take goes to those 2 charities. They will split it evenly. The other 75% is given out in the following order. The overall winner of the ladder, 40%. The second place in the first tier, 25%. The first place in the second tier, 20%. And the first place in the third tier, 15%. All right? So as you can tell, it behooves you to try to climb as high as you can. And at some point, there's some strategy to be had about where you want to actually end up. The worst place to be is third in the ladder, which happens to be where myself is currently at the moment, in third place in the ladder. So I've got to climb fast or I've got to lose quickly. Very likely the latter is my guess. All right. Everything done by text, we talked about that. Prize money. When you accept a challenge, make a challenge, just understand that the default tables are the blue felted tables here at BAK. If both players agree to play on the 4-inch tables, that's fine with me. But if either player objects, you will play on the blue felt. Any questions there? Okay. The player challenged gets to decide if someone has multiple challenges, 2 people challenge somebody up, the person being challenged gets to decide which one he wants to play. Okay? I don't want to go through timestamps of who asked first. We're not going to do that. It's just going to take too much work. So you're going to accept one of the 2 probably. You get to choose which one. But the caveat is this. You may not play the same player twice without an intervening match. Okay? That makes perfect sense. Otherwise, you just keep playing each other and never let anybody climb above you, right? So the idea is you have to give other people a chance to climb the ladder. So if, just for instance, Adrian and Jay Lee played today, Jay Lee wouldn't be allowed to play Adrian until he's played either Z, Ken, or Naeem, okay? And you can tell, I think you guys have a superimposed version of the ladder here that you can see. So you'll see what I mean by that. Any questions on that? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. There is a situation that could arise. It happened, I think, one time in 10 years of doing ladder tournaments before. But it's possible that, let's say that little Al and I decide we're going to play on Friday. Today is Sunday. We're going to play on Friday. But in the intervening time, I play 2 matches and get knocked down into the second tier, where I'm no longer eligible to challenge Al. Al cannot play me anymore. So that might have been on the books, but I'm no longer a legal match for him because I'm more than 2 below him. Okay? So when you're playing, keep that in mind as well, which again behooves you to play more often. And if you get a match scheduled, if you can get it done quickly, please do. That would make more sense than letting it drag on for a week, because by the time you get to that week's end, that person may not be an eligible opponent for you anymore. Does that make sense? Are there any questions?
I have one question.
Yes.
So you can't jump or challenge someone 2 above you, right?
Correct.
Okay. So, okay. Cool.
And you can be challenged from 2 below you, 1 or 2.
Okay.
Right? So there's 4 possible opponents every week.
Yeah.
right?
But I do see that happening. If Z and Adrian agree they're going to play a match, and Jay and Naeem agree they're going to play a match, and Adrian loses, Jay is no longer in reach of Naeem. Like, they had already agreed to play the match, but Jay has now dropped down one. He can't play Naeem anymore, or can he? Like that had already.
No, he can't. If Jay were to go down to where Z is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jay would not be allowed to play Naeem at that point. So it does come up. I'm not saying it's never happened. Like I think it happened once in the one pocket ladder that we used to run.
I'm guessing this will happen.
We also didn't have tiers. so that is there to make sure that you're not playing a person you're not allowed to play, basically by rule.
Hey, Mick,
Yeah.
if it's, let's say you get challenged on Monday
Yeah.
and you schedule a match for Thursday,
Right.
do you have to accept challenges from below you
No.
up until then?
No.
Or you can refuse them until you play that?
You can wait until you play your match, as long as you get one match in. But if you were the one who challenged, then the week after you'll be playing a person who challenged you. Right.
As long as it's still
A viable. Yes. Exactly.
Oh, so
The
it has
other-
to alternate between being
Every week.
challenged and challenging?
Correct.
Well, that leads me to my other question. Let's say you don't get challenged
Yeah.
by anyone that week.
If that were to happen, then obviously as tournament director, I'd have to make sure that it's okay that you had 2 in a row that went with the challenge instead. If no one challenged you and you don't challenge anybody, you have to challenge once.
I mean, if I challenge someone, we play,
Right.
and then the following week I don't get challenged, or
Then I would probably,
I could still challenge someone.
yeah, you'd have to challenge somebody. Again, my expectation is that people are going to want to try to climb this ladder, especially early off.
Is there any cap on like rematching like certain players?
No, except there has to be an intervening match, as I said earlier.
Oh, so something in between. Okay, gotcha.
So if you and I played, you can't turn around and challenge me and we play again tomorrow,
Okay.
unless you played somebody that night. But you have to play a match in between winning or losing against me.
Cool.
Okay?
Gotcha.
But yeah, this is a real opportunity that could happen. I think Guy's right. This is more than likely to happen at one point. And again, I want everybody to keep something in mind. We're trying something new. I need your patience. It's for charity to some extent. Everybody here kind of knows each other. A lot of us play together a lot of times. So we're going to make some mistakes. We're going to try to get this right. The reason we did a 10-week ladder is try to perfect it before we do a 26-week ladder, which would be better. A longer ladder leads to more money for everybody, and a lot of more people could get involved because we don't have to play once a week if we do 26 weeks. You could do once every 2 weeks. So we're just trying to get this right the first time. So I need a little bit of patience, a little bit of grace from everybody. I'm sure we're going to screw things up. I'm sure I haven't covered everything. But rest assured, the rules will be applied equally and transparently no matter what those rules are, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Mick, for the ladders, the payouts of it, is it like percentage of win or just where you are when it closes?
Just where you are when it closes. That's where the strategy comes in. But it's 15% of the total for the bottom tier, 20% of the total, not 20% of what was in your tier. So, and we're starting off with $850 in the pot because it's 17 people. So already we've got $850 in the pot minus 25% to the charity. So if you do the math real fast, if there's 17 people and everybody has to play at least once, that's 8.5 matches, right? That's about $170 a week. That's if you play the bare minimum, right? $340, 170 times 2 is 340 times 10, 3,400. 25% to the charity still leaves about 2,650 plus 75% of 850. That's what the pot would be if everybody did the minimum you're required to do. But I promise you, I'm going to be challenging the 2 guys above me every chance I get. And I know the people below me are going to challenge me as often as they can too. So, any other questions? Alex?
About the playing somebody back to back.
Yeah.
So, for example, say I challenge Anthony, beat him, he moves down, he plays somebody else, but I don't play anybody else in between, and he comes back and challenges me. So technically, I'm playing him back to back, but he's played somebody else. Is that acceptable?
No, because you would have had to play another. Okay, that's a good question.
Yeah.
The answer is no, he can't do that. There has to be a week in between. There has to be a subsequent match that's part of the required matches.
Both players. have
Yeah,
to play
yeah,
a
yeah.
different match. Okay.
Right? So if you play in week 1, you couldn't play again until week 3. Maybe that's the better way to say it. But I'm glad you asked that. That clarifies because I think I said that badly.
The same tier cannot play with each other.
No, the same tier can play with each other. Sure, you're supposed to.
The top tier, they can compete with each other.
Oh yeah, I mean you have to. You don't have a choice.
There's no other way to climb.
Like where I am, I have no choice. I got 3 below me and 2 above me. So Tony Hart and I are in the same boat. We couldn't accept a challenge from tier 2 yet. Right? And actually Z, you're in the same boat. You've got to win or lose before you can get to another tier. Challenging. That's a great question though, Alex. Thank you. That should have clarified that. See, we're working out the kinks. Other questions, concerns, things I might have missed?
Is that possible that the same person can play other 5? Not the same person, don't challenge the same person again. You have to challenge somebody else. Not the same person after even, after 1 week, not, but you have to challenge somebody else in that tier.
No, not necessarily in that tier.
Not necessarily.
I mean, you could. So, for instance, Naeem, his first 2 weeks could be against David, and if nothing changes, then Tony Thornton. So he would challenge outside of his tier twice. But week 3, he might, if he moved up, then he might play only in tier 1 until he loses and goes back down. So the answer is no. It's possible you could only play your whole in the tier that you're currently in, but you would move up or down a tier in order to do that. Any other questions? This is great. Keep them coming if you got them. I'd rather leave no stone unturned, but also the fact that we will leave stone unturned, that's where I ask for the grace and the patience.
If we have to travel or something,
Yeah.
we think we're gonna miss a week, and you try to play ahead.
Yeah, look, I mean, the idea is that we're trying to accommodate as much as we can. I know we have some folks who are military personnel. I know we have some folks who are contractors who might have to travel. As long as it's a legitimate reason and nobody's just trying to I'm sitting in the catbird seat, I'm gonna be traveling the next 3 weeks. That's going to be different. But also, if you travel and if you multiple weeks, you just take a forfeit then, right? So you owe $20 and you move down a notch. So it's not the end of the world either way. Now I will tell you that Jay and I spoke yesterday. If he has a situation come up with his work that would call him overseas for an extended period of time, he will be dropping out. He's paid his registration fee. He's willing to play for as long as that may take. He doesn't necessarily believe it's coming to fruition, but if it were to, he and I do have a deal that he'd be off the hook for the penalties. And I thought everybody in the room would agree with that. So I made that deal with him. I mean, no, the good news is he's probably going to lose every match anyway, so we're going to get us 20 either way. So, and that's on the record on film.
We're not mad at the principal, we're mad at the
We know Jay's first challenge.
Any other questions before I wrap this up for the camera? Okay, so everybody has the text threads. You should have everybody's phone number. If you don't, I have a copy of them all written down. You can take a picture of it. If you need that, let me know. I have it. It's right here. Otherwise, one more thing. All rules are based on onepocket.org. I know I said that in one of the earlier texts. If you don't know onepocket.org, you should look at it, but they're all standard one pocket rules. You re-rack if you make a ball in the break, Derby City style, okay? If you move one ball, your opponent gets the option of moving that back, no penalty. If you move 2 balls, that's a foul. Cue ball stays where it is, but you owe a ball. If you move 3 balls, or if any ball impedes the cue ball that you moved, it's a loss of game. Okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. With this rule, is there a re-rack? You make the ball?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
If both players are negative, are we going to 0?
No, both players stay negative. 3 fouls are in effect, though. 3 fouls are in effect.
Both players agree to go to 0?
I'm going to be honest with you, Alex. If both players agree to do something and I'm not there, do you. But I will tell you that I'm not going to agree to not go negative.
Yeah.
I'd rather the game take 6 hours, but that's just me. I'm old.
The only other thing that I wanted to say is please don't quit because you don't like it.
Yeah.
Make that decision now. If there's something that you think you're not going to like about this, then don't do it. Don't quit because that's not fair to everybody else. Screws a whole bunch of things up. And you probably won't get invited back to play in a schedule your own format of anything like that.
Thank you. I've looked pretty tirelessly on how to find an online version for a ladder. I thought I had it, but then it kind of fell apart yesterday. So because I'm kind of old school, that's really small, but I have a really big one at my office. And I'm just going to take a picture of it every day and send it to people as it changes in the text thread. If anybody is smart enough to figure out the technology and can find, I mean, I actually bought a domain site and I just can't figure out how to build a website that does this. But if anybody wants to do that and take it on yourself, I am all ears on that. But otherwise, and Alex, if that Google Doc thing, I can do it so that only I can change it, I'm all for it. But the ones that I've been a part of, everybody can make changes to. We can't have that.
That's probably the easiest way. Just do a Google Doc where everyone has read access, you have write access, and then everyone can text you with the updates. And then you can.
I'm 100% for that as long as someone can set it up, because I don't know what any of that means.
Okay. Cool.
But yes, I would love to do that and just send it to everybody and say, hey, you tell me, and then you can look on it as often as you want with real-time changes being made. But otherwise, I'm just going to take a picture of the board in my office and send it to everybody for now.
That works too.
All right, guys, officially the ladder is open. Challenges can be made and accepted. You could start tonight if you wanted to. I see nobody below me or nobody above me to play, so I'm just going to sit around and watch for a while.
Where's Al? Who's two above me?
I wanted to challenge Alex.
I can't challenge.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mick.
Thank you. David, am I clear?
I get 9-7, right? He's two above me?
No, different tier. Hey, Naeem, I'm Mick.
Mick, Naeem, nice to meet you.
No, I'm not worried about that. Yeah, you can pay me, that's fine. I said, but that's not the reason I introduced myself.